Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been so long. I actually got my wisdom teeth out I think 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and it was very rough. So I looked like a chipmunk for a while and I wasn't able to make another video, but I'm back feeling much better, and I hope to have videos out about once a week going forward. Today I am going to do more of like a dewy luminous look with more of like a natural eye and just like a pink lip. I think it's super pretty transition look for going from summer to fall. So to get started, I'm actually going to use some jojoba oil on my face first as sort of like a moisturizer. I just got this off of Amazon and I love it. I've mixed it with my foundation. I've used it just at night before bed. It's super hydrating and smells pretty good. It doesn't irritate my skin. If I use it at night and I wake up the next morning, I have just a super nice smooth skin. It looks very hydrated. I just like to rub it in though. Really let my skin absorb it. If you have more oily skin, I probably wouldn't use an oil or like this on your face because it would probably just accentuate that issue. But I have fairly dry skin, normal to dry, and so it really helps with those dry areas that I tend to get. So I'm just gonna let this dry a little bit. Okay, so now that that is more absorbed into my skin, I'm going to start with the Bare Minerals Prime Time Original Foundation Primer. It just comes in a little bottle like this. I really like this because it's kind of like almost like a silicone. Comes out like that. And it kind of leaves like a barrier almost between your skin and your foundation. The reason I like that more than some of like the thinner primers that you can use is because I feel like it provides a barrier between your foundation and your skin. It doesn't clog your pores as much, and it seems to work better and last longer for me personally. Another primer I really like is the Smashbox Original Primer. It's like a clear silicone just like this one, and it works really well. Two, it's just a little bit more expensive. I think that the Smashbox is like $36 and this one was $28 maybe. So just different price points, but they both work equally as well, I've come to find out. Since I'm going to be doing a more luminous look, I'm going to start with the Chanel LeBlanc. It says Light Creator Brightening Makeup Base. Comes in a bottle like this. You're supposed to shake it before you use it. And I'm going to apply it with a foundation brush all over my face first. Another way you can do this is also mixing it into your foundation. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit on the back of my, well, that was a lot. Put a lot on the back of my hand. I'm just going to take my brush. This is the Sephora 203. It's a double-ended brush, so it's got a concealer brush and a foundation brush. And I am just going to paint it on my skin. And what this will do is kind of create like a glow from within look, and give a really luminous look all over your face as opposed to just like a highlighter in one area. Like I said though, you can also just mix this in with your foundation to save time. You can also mix in your primer with your foundation too. That's another quick trick if I don't have much time to get ready. And today for foundation, I'm gonna try out the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Cushion. It's in shade Nude Beige. I have the liquid foundation of this and I really liked it, so I picked up this cushion. It comes with like a little applicator like this, and then it's really just a cushion. So what I do is hold the applicator. I spread my fingers, it just makes for more even application. And I press twice, and as you can see, it's like the wet product is on there. And then you just tap it on your face. I really like this stuff because it's really light. It doesn't get too heavy on your face, especially, you know, in the summertime. When you're warm, you don't want to look like you have like a cake on your face. And this stuff also does provide buildable coverage, so if you do have some trouble spots or you like more coverage, you can certainly build it. Ooh, that's interesting. Ugh. Once I've kind of put it all over my face, I like to just take a foundation brush. This is the Morphe M439. It's pretty dense. I love this brush. And I just kind of work it all over. And this just makes sure too that it's even. The applicator, like I said, it's nice to kind of apply it all over your face, but it doesn't always blend out the best. So I like to just go in with another foundation brush. And as you can see, I've got a nice dewy finish right now. So now that my foundation is on, I'm going to go in with the concealer. I like to put my concealer on after my foundation. You can really do it either way. Some people do concealer, foundation, concealer. It all just depends on how much you're trying to cover or what your issues are. I have pretty hollow under eyes. It's nothing makeup can super fix, but I don't have terrible dark circles, so I usually just put my foundation on first and then my concealer. My mirror's over here, so I'm gonna just swipe on my concealer quick. I am using the Maybelline concealer in Fair. I believe it's the Fit Me, but I'm not, it doesn't really say, it just says it's Maybelline. I have a lot of baby hairs, and it's really annoying when I'm doing my makeup and I want to get up all in it. Okay, put a lot on that one side. So when I use my concealer, basically I use it to brighten the areas of my face. So when you do it under your eye, you don't want to just do it simply where the under eye part is in like a half moon, because that's actually going to accentuate it more. So I like to do kind of a big triangle from the corner of my eye down in and then under my eye. I also do it down the center of my nose, on the sides of my nose, because I have redness, and so I like to use the concealer to cover that up more. And then also I use it in my forehead and on my chin as more of like a highlighting, brightening. What I'm gonna do now is, for my under eyes, I have this very, very little baby sponge, and I am going to use this in my under eye area. I used to use a slightly bigger one for my under eye concealer, but I noticed I was having a really difficult time getting near like my tear duct and my lower lash line to make it blend out. So I actually purchased this just from Amazon. I think it's like the Aesthetica line, if I'm saying it right, but they were super cheap. Got them in 2 days with Prime, and I really like them. They're super soft, but they work really well. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this in. Get my nose, and again, this is a really great sponge too for getting into kind of like the crevices. If you have a nose that is really deep, like mine, I would always have a hard time with my more thick beauty blend. Well, it wasn't a beauty blender, beauty sponge, I should say. It wouldn't really pack in the foundation or the concealer that well around my nose, and it tended to like sit on top of it. I couldn't quite blend it out. So this little baby sponge is super great for that. Okay, and then for these bigger areas, I'm gonna use, this is the big version of it, and just tap it out. And you definitely want to make sure that your beauty sponges are pretty damp. If they're more dry, it's not going to blend as well. You're going to have more product be left over on the sponge when it's wet. It definitely picks up excess product, but it puts it back wherever you're tapping around. So you can just use it in like a tapping motion, and that way it looks nice and airbrushed. It doesn't leave any sort of lines or anything like that. So as you can see, the under eyes are concealed. The one thing that I think is super important is baking your under eye concealer. I would always have creasing in my under eye. You could see like the lines and where it was settling, and it did not look good. So I actually, when I was watching other videos, I saw that people would bake. So what I like to do is, again, just take like the big guy, you can use the little guy, and I'm just taking some finishing powder. This is the It by Pores finishing powder. It can really be anything that's translucent. And you just pick up a lot and you literally just stamp it on underneath your eye. You can't use too much, really. It's better to use too much than not enough for this. So as you can see, it's not too crazy. But basically, we're just gonna let this sit here and bake while we do some contouring on the face. The longer that you let it sit, the more bulletproof your under eye concealer is going to become. So if I have the time, I like to let it sit on my face while I do contouring, maybe my eyebrows, those types of things. And then once I'm done with those, I'll take a big fluffy brush and swipe it away. If you don't have a lot of time, I would recommend still applying the powder underneath your under eyes, but then you can just immediately wipe it away. This will definitely help prevent creasing. It might not be as bulletproof as letting it bake longer, but it's still a good option just to do it quickly if you don't have the time to really let it sit on. So for our contouring today, I'm gonna start with this Sonia Kashuk contouring stick. I think it's new. I just picked it up at Target. There was only one color, so it is actually fairly dark, but if you blend it out, it's really pretty and it does the job. So what I like to do is just put some like that. So I kind of tap it and just leave like little balls of whatever the shape of the tip is just down. And then I also put it up on my forehead and down my nose. And again, if it gets a woohoo, if it gets a little crazy, you can definitely blend it out. This is probably going to need to be taken off a little bit. Another thing I like to do, so obviously I am not the skinniest person in the world, but what I like to do to kind of conceal my double chin here is contour all the way underneath and then on my jaw line. And that's going to give the illusion, once it's blended out, it's going to kind of create like a shadow. I mean, that's basically what you're doing when you're contouring, is you're creating a shadow where there wouldn't be one, to create the illusion of having a more chiseled face. So when you contour underneath your chin, you're kind of creating a shadow to make it look like there's not a double chin there. It's a great trick. To blend out today, I'm going to use this brush. It doesn't have a name. I got it in a kit from Sonia Kashuk at Target. It wasn't very expensive. I actually think I got it on clearance, but it's more of like a buffer brush. It's really dense. I mean, it's soft, but it's not like a powder brush. So it does a really great job of blending out. So we're just gonna get started, and I just kind of go back and forth over the line. And as you can tell, I mean, it's not as dark as it looks once it's blended out. If I'm doing a more like everyday look, so for example, like when I go to work, I don't go this crazy with my contour. What I do is I just use a bronzer. It's the Hoola bronzer by Benefit, and I'll just kind of put it in the same spots that I'm contouring right now. I don't do my nose or under my chin or anything, but it's a great way to kind of give the illusion like you contoured, but it's definitely a lot more natural and a lot quicker too. Okay, and then for my nose, I might have to, got a little too dark here, so I'm just gonna use my finger. Ooh, I'm gonna need to fix that. What I'm gonna do okay, I just took the applicator and I just kind of rubbed it over it to fix it. So it's not too crazy. I have a very round face, so when I contour it's not gonna look super chiseled because I just don't have that structure in my face, but I still like to do it because it does define it a little bit more. So once we've got the cream contour done, I'm gonna go in with the NYX Highlight and Contour Pro palette. I just picked this up at Target. It is $25, so it's definitely more expensive, but at the same time, you're getting a lot of good colors way cheaper than more of a professional palette, like say for example the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, which is super pretty. A lot of people love it. I'm sure it's great, but I didn't have it in my budget to spend that much on a contour palette. So I am gonna go in with a contour brush. It's angled, as you can tell, and it's thinner. And I'm just gonna go ahead and grab this color right here. You don't need to go too crazy. You've already kind of laid down the foundation, but I'm just gonna go over it with the powder. I think powder contour is a little bit more soft, and I just kind of wanted to define a little bit more without going too crazy with the cream. So now that we're done with that, I'm actually going to go ahead and wipe away the finishing or setting powder that we use on our under eye. So I'm taking the It Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Airbrush Powder and Bronzer number 1. I am absolutely obsessed with this brush. It is so soft, so very worth the money. They are expensive, but I got this in a kit off of QVC for way cheaper than buying it at the store. So if you want to look at it products, I would highly suggest watching QVC and buying it from there because you can get really great deals. I use this to wipe away the under eye. I also use it like if I'm using a powder foundation or I'm putting finishing powder all over my face. I'll use this brush. Okay, now that our under eyes are set, I am gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. So for that, I use the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Ash Brown. This is a dupe for the Anastasia of Beverly Hills Brow Wiz pencil. I just, again, get it from the drugstore. The nice thing is, itchy. The nice thing is it's double-ended, so it comes with the spoolie and then it has the product on the other end. It's super nice because it's like 2 things in one. You don't have to carry a separate spoolie, it's just attached right to it. So I like to brush out my brows first. Okay, and then you don't want to have it come out too far because I've made the mistake of having it out too far, and then if I accidentally go a little bit too hard, it'll just break right off, which is a great way to waste product. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows quick. Okay, so I've got them drawn on. I haven't blended them out yet, but as you can see, I just don't have dark enough brows that I like personally. So I fill them in here, where pretty much everywhere, and try to give them more of a shape as well. I'm gonna go in with my spoolie brush and just blend them out. It makes them look a little bit more natural. All right. Once I'm done with my eyebrows, I do like to put a clear gel over them to really seal them and make sure they stay all day and don't get all crazy. So I'm going to go in with the European Wax Center Shape It Brow Shining and Defining Serum. I got this when I worked there like 4 or 5 years ago. I still have it. You can really use any clear gel though to get the job done. It comes on just like a mascara wand, and then you just kind of brush it over. You don't have to go too heavy with your hand, and set them in the shape that you want. Voila, and then they stay all day. Whenever I do my eye makeup, I always use the Urban Decay Primer Potion on my eyes. I have never once ever in the history of ever doing my makeup used any other primer. I'm just a ride or die for this product. It's just so great. And it's fairly inexpensive. I think, well, it's $20 in the store, but first of all, a little bit goes a long way. I've only had to buy 1 or 2 tubes ever. The other great thing about it is I went on to urbandecay.com one time and they had them on sale for 50% off. So I got it for $10. So it's a super great product. I'm sure there are other eyeshadow primers that are equally as great. I'm just a ride or die for this. A little bit goes a long way. That's how much I'm going to use for both eyes. I just kind of warm it up and rub it between my fingers like this. And then I just apply it all over my lid. If I'm going to be doing something that's really dramatic, a lot of color, a lot of pigment, I definitely use a little bit more, and I actually apply it with a concealer brush and really work it into my eyes. But that's pretty rare. For the most part, I just put it on with my fingers. You don't need to get too fancy with it. Okay, so for today's look, I'm going to be using the BH Cosmetics Carly Bible palette. I just got this, super excited for it. BH Cosmetics has a lot of great inexpensive products on their website. I also got their blush palette, which I'm going to be using in this video too, but super pigmented, a little bit goes a long way. The great thing about this palette is it also has highlighters and bronzers in it as well with the eyeshadows, so just a lot of versatility, which is great, and it was only like 22 bucks or something, super inexpensive. So for the start, I'm going to go in all over my lid with this color right here. It's like a light neutral. And then I'm going to start with the crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this warm color right here. And I'm just using this is like a Real Techniques Deluxe crease brush. Again, none of the tools that I have are really that expensive. I think the most expensive I have is my IT Cosmetics brush. But these pink brushes that I use, I got them in a kit off of Finger Hut for like 35 bucks, and they're super great. I think they're City Color Cosmetics, and I love them. It came with a super cute traveling roll-up brush holder, just really great. So I mean, honestly, you don't need to spend too much money on brushes to get quality and have them last for a while. As long as you take care of them, you wash them, you're not too hard on them, you know, they will last you a long time. I've had this brush forever, and it's my favorite blending brush. So I picked up some product, and now I'm just going to work it right into the crease, but kind of almost like a little bit above. And I'm not going all the way in, kind of keeping it on the outer corner. And it's just more of like a warm color, more natural, but can, you know, like I said, be carried into fall. It's not too summery. And if you can hear pounding in the background, we have renovations going on downstairs. So that's where that sound is from. Okay. So definitely more heavy on the outer corner and lighter as you go in. Next, I'm going to go in with this brown color right here. And I'm actually gonna use a smaller buffer blender brush for the crease. I wanted this to be more broad, more warm that way, but I want to be more precise with this brown color. And again, just right in the crease. This is definitely more right in there than above it like the other color. But this is just going to add more depth. Okay. And now that the creases are done, we're gonna go in and lay a more bright color on the lid to make the eyes pop. What I'm gonna do is go in with this brush, the flat all over brush for the lid, and because I'm gonna be picking up a glitter color, what I like to do is spray it with a finishing spray, a prep spray, anything like that. I'm just gonna use the NYX Dewy Finish. You don't need to spray it very much. 2 sprays is all I need. And then I'm gonna go in with this gold sparkle color. And it really just packs it on the brush, if you can see. And you just want to put it all over the lid. I have really small eyes, so I do generally need to pull them like this if I'm going to do a color all over my lid. And voila! One thing I do like to do after putting the color all over my lid is to go back in the crease and just kind of blend it out even more. So I'm not going to put any more product on this one. This is the skinnier, but I'm just going to go back in and simply rub it back and forth just to kind of make sure it's blended in the crease. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to go in and highlight. I'm going to use this brush. This is an e.l.f. brush, and honestly, it's called the smudge brush. I've had this for years. I'm sure they still carry it. e.l.f. is a great, cheaper alternative as well. So for highlighting, I'm going to go in with this really light color right here. Pick it up, and whoa, that's really pigmented. And just kind of highlight it all over my brow bone and under my eyebrow. And I also like to blend it in with the crease color that we used. That way there's really no harsh line just in your crease where it's like, okay, highlight, crease, lid. You really want to make sure you're blending out, up, down. You want everything to kind of just blend together the best that it can. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with a highlighter. This is the Tarte Skin Twinkle Volume 2 palette. It's got 4 really gorgeous highlight shades. And I'm going to go ahead with this first one. It's called Daylight, and it's probably my all-time favorite. I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. highlighting brush. Again, expensive isn't always better, and just pick some up right on there and highlight right here. And then I like to put some on my nose, my chin, Okay, and now I'm going to go in with blush. I'm going to use the Blush to Go 4-color blush palette by BH Cosmetics. And for this one, I'm going to use this light pink one down here. I'm just using a blush brush. And like I said, they're super pigmented, so you don't need to use very much. And what I actually like to do, because these are so pigmented and I'm not super heavy with blush, is I'd like to just tap it on. And that way you're getting it exactly where you want it, and it's not getting like too heavy in one spot, or you're really pounding it on and using a super firm hand. I'm just tapping it on so that it's a little bit more light and natural. Okay, and now that that's done, really the last 2 steps we have is just to apply mascara and then something on our lips. So for mascara today, I'm going to be using this Voluminous Lash Paradise. It's their new mascara. It's very similar to their Voluminous, just normal carbon black mascara that everyone uses, but this, I feel, does a really great job. The brush is very, very thick. But it does a great job of making your eyelashes look amazing. And voila. All right. And then for our lower lashes, I'm going to use the Tardiest, I think it's Lurid Lash Paint. This has a synthetic brush. I really do enjoy this mascara. I like that the bristles are shorter, so when you're doing your lower lash line, you're not gonna get as much on your skin. Alright, and I put those on, nothing too crazy. I don't really have the longest lower lashes, so never gets really crazy down there anyways. And now that we're done with everything, really, the last step is just to put on our lipstick. So for today, I'm going to be using from Maybelline the Ravishing Rose Matte Lipstick. This color is just absolutely stunning. Alright, and there you have it. Just a super simple look that will transition really easily from summer into fall, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't done so already, please, please, please subscribe to my channel. Like I said, I had some extenuating circumstances that prevented me from putting out a video sooner than I have, but I'm really hoping to have one out once a week going forward. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye!